We're going to get started in just a few minutes, but I wanted to do a quick sound check. If you can see on your screen the first page of the PowerPoint that says 2018-2019 October 1 child count, and you can hear me, will you raise your hand? Okay, we're going to get started in just a minute. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, everybody. Really quickly, I just want to make sure that to avoid any background noise, that everyone has your phone muted if you are dialed in by phone. My name is Lindsay. I know I've talked to several of you before, and today we're going to be talking about the October 1 child count. We're going to first, wait, hang on one second. We're having some technical difficulties. Okay, so first we are going to just quickly go over the lead agency expectations and role for 2018-19, which you're all already familiar with. We're going to quickly go over an overview of the child count, as well as some instructions for completing it, and also how to navigate the template. And then we'll talk about some next steps. So just as an overview and a reminder, as established in Bulletin 140, community networks and program partner sites are required to submit specific information for coordinated enrollment and the coordinated funding request. In order for the department to evaluate funding requests based on local enrollment, lead agencies are required to count all at-risk publicly funded children enrolled in their sites as of October 1. This is due to the department in your FTP folder on October 31st. You also have to collaborate with your program partners to complete and submit a coordinated funding request to the department by December 1st. You work with your network to review, revise, and submit a coordinated enrollment plan, which is to be submitted to the department by January 31st. And then again in February, you count all of your at-risk publicly funded children enrolled as of February 1st. And this is due to the department in your FTP folder on February 28th. This slide gives you a more detailed picture of the timeline that all lead agency milestones that are required in policy. The October 1 child count, which we will be discussing today, is due October 31st, as I mentioned previously. So as established in Bulletin 140, community networks and program partner sites are required to submit a count of all publicly funded children as of October 1 by October 31st. This is important for several reasons. Lead agencies and program partners need to know how many publicly funded children they're serving and where they're located as part of their coordinated enrollment work. By understanding how funding sources are serving children in their community, community networks can better plan and improve access. And your performance profiles include metrics based on these counts. And by receiving and analyzing these counts, the department can better understand how funding is used across the state to provide early childhood care and education and support efforts to maximize funding and increase access. So to complete the child count, lead agencies should enter enrollment numbers by age and site type as of October 1, 2018 for all publicly funded children at each site. The October 1 child count is a snapshot of enrollment counts as of October 1, even if there are changes between October 1st and the date you submit the count. Only count the children served with public funds. So for this purpose, public funds do not include funding for food and nutrition programs. You will only count each publicly funded child once. Do not count children in more than one category. For example, if you have an NSECD child who receives child care assistance for before and after school care only, you would only include this child in your NSECD count. Only count publicly funded children who are enrolled during the regular school day. Do not count children in before and after school programs only, or home-based children except for early Head Start. Do not count children receiving special ed services in the home, including early step home-based children. You will only count children receiving special ed services who are enrolled in full day in a center, school, or site-based program in the appropriate IDEA category and age. The IDEA only category with each age is for children receiving SPED services who are enrolled in full day services in a center, school, or site-based program that cannot be counted in any other category. So as I mentioned, the best example for several of these instructions is if you have an LA4 child who receives child care assistance for before and after school care only and IDEA for services only, you would only count them in your LA4 count. A child's age cohort is determined by the child's age on September 30th of the school year. Children are placed in age cohorts for a school year as follows. Infants are children ages birth to 1 year who have not and will not reach their first birthday by September 30th, 2018. 1-year-olds are children who have or will reach their first birthday on or before September 30th of 2018. 2-year-olds are children who have or will reach their second birthday on or before September 30th of 2018. 3-year-olds are children who have or will reach their third birthday on or before September 30th, and 4-year-olds are children who have or will reach their fourth birthday on or before September 30th of 2018. So just as we required last year, there is a second tab on your template that captures demographic data, and we will be using this again. The data captured here provides us with valuable information about the specific needs of children in your community and helps to inform our ongoing efforts to deliver high-quality support and services for children and families. You can complete this section in only one of 3 ways. So you would choose one of these ways to complete this section. You can complete it at the site level. So if you have information for each site, you would include each site as an individual row with their count information in each column. So you would identify ABC Head Start or XYZ School, and you would list their demographic information on one line. The second way is by site type. So if you only have it at the site type level, for instance, you have it as school level or Head Start or childcare, but you don't have it for each individual site, you would leave the site name blank and just complete it for each site type. And the third way is the community network total. Only choose this option if you do not have access to the requested information at the site-specific or site type levels. Complete this with the community network totals for each column if this is the only information that is available to you. But we strongly encourage you to try to collect the data at either the site level or the site type level. So now we're going to take a look at the actual template. On your screen is a screenshot of just a small portion of what the template looks like. To complete it, you are going to count children enrolled as of October 1st and return the completed template to us by October 31st. You'll count children served with public funds only once and in only one category, as we discussed previously. And as you know, this year we only sent out the blank template to you. If you would like to receive a template that has been pre-populated with all providers in your community network that we know to be providing services as of October 1st, you'll need to send a written request to my email, which I'll give you at the end, and we will send a pre-populated template out to you after October 1st. So when you look at the template, you'll see that there are 226 rows that you can put in data. If you need to insert additional rows, you'll need to do this above row 226. And you'll also see the two tabs at the bottom. The first one is just for your count numbers, and the second one is for the demographics. You'll also notice that there are some shaded columns and rows. Do not try to enter data into these fields as they have been locked, and the totals will calculate automatically for you. So the gray column, the gray row that's for totals, and the colored columns for each age group for totals are all locked, and you will be unable to enter data into those fields. You should ensure that all publicly funded early childhood sites are included. And this is to include any school site. A school with a Head Start site should be listed separately. Your early Head Start or Head Start centers, child care centers, and your non-public schools that participate in the NSECD program. And each of these are available in the drop-down menu on your template. As I mentioned, the Demographics tab informs our efforts to better serve children across community networks. To complete this tab, you should use the drop-down menu in column A to specify site type and enter data. If you are capturing site level data, you will select site type and enter the name of the site in column B. Only select the total option if you do not have information at site-specific level. So we went through the instructions really quickly. I know these are all things that you've done in the past, so you are likely pretty familiar with it. Our next steps are to attend office hours. If you have additional questions about this through the process, our office hours are every Tuesday at 3 o'clock. We can send you out the link if you don't have it, and Kay can also send you out a calendar request. On October 10th, we will have a webinar for the coordinated funding request, and we will also be sending out additional information prior to that. Not to forget that your October 1 child count is due October 31st, and your coordinated funding request will also be due December 1st. And there is my email address. If you have any additional questions or you would like to submit the request for the pre-populated template, please send it to that email address listed on the screen. And now we will take any questions. If you are on the phone, you can feel free to ask your question verbally. And if you are not on the phone, you should be able to use the chat feature. The webinar is being recorded, and we will send out the link once it is available. Yes, we will also attach a copy of the presentation when we send out the link to the recording. Are there any questions from folks on the phone? Okay, there is somebody with the username Ashrich who has their hand up. I'm not sure who that is. Maybe Richland Parish. Do you have a question, or is your hand up from before? Okay, so we have a question about the December 1st submission date for the coordinated funding request. The December 1st date is a Saturday. Should we have it submitted by November 30th? Yes, we definitely encourage you to have it submitted by November 30th. If for some reason you cannot have it in by the 30th, just please email us and let us know, and we will do our best to give you an extension until that next Monday. Okay, are there any questions from folks on the phone? Okay, it doesn't look like there are any additional questions. So with that, we will conclude this webinar, and like I said, probably early next week we'll send out the recording with a copy of the presentation, and let us know if you do think of any questions. You can email me and I will get you a response as quickly as possible. So everybody have a great day, and thanks for joining us.